I'm Ron Hosen, as you can tell by the context on the other videos. I'm almost 75 years old, and I'm going to offer a $100,000 bet to anyone who wishes to take it. This is a follow-on to 90 Seconds to Orgasm and Psychological Capital, which was illustrated in the numerous moderately amusing stories I offer. So, the title is The $100,000 Bet Offer. Now, in the United States today, one important political issue, particularly given on today, March 8th, the skirmishes in the state of Wisconsin over funding the pensions for organized public school teachers, and the continuation of collective bargaining as a way to set salary and conditions. Okay, one of the things that everyone feels they have a right to an opinion, since they're taxpayers or parents or something, is on education. And for the most part, people look with favor on their own education, which occurred many years ago and was probably not worth shit then and would not be worth shit today. We have, in fact, what people are getting is roughly what students were getting 50 years ago. So, I'm willing to offer. Now, keep in mind who this person is, me. I'm almost 75 years old. I have a dysfunctional heart. I have a dysfunctional colon. I have recovering from foot surgery, and the recovery is going poorly, so I will never recover probably. So I have a dysfunctional right foot, and I have a dysfunctional left bicep. So my regimen of weightlifting and going to the gym and working with machines was disrupted about a year ago. And so I'm deteriorating rapidly. In addition to that, I have a drug history and a deteriorating brain, and so you might call that incipient senility. But I'm offering you, somebody at the Hudson Institute, somebody at Stanford, the Hoover Institution. I mean, anybody who thinks you have a clue as to what education should be like is eligible to accept this bet. Now, particularly those of you who believe that material incentives are the key to achieving better teacher effort, better school effort, better results, and that you know what the fucking results are. ought to be interested in the 100,000, even though to you this is a piddling amount. You could get a lot of publicity. You could blog about it. You could publicize it. So, you could be part of something where you're kicking the ass of somebody who has a different perspective. Okay. So, what I'm suggesting is, if you have and if you're important and have ideas on this, and have the backing of some think tank or school district or government agency, you and you would arrange for both of us to be given a set of classes. Let's call it middle school. Middle school's a good area. I've taught mostly college, but I was a 9th grade general science teacher when I was in graduate school, and I've taught 18 different college courses. So I'm kind of versatile, and the funding for middle school courses is pretty much set. So perhaps you being an important person, could tap into funds already allocated. So, here's the bet. We, through negotiation, select an outcome that we both think is desirable. Develop an instrument to measure this. And then we compete. The magic word, competition. The magic word, money, $100,000. Now, I'm a poor person. I have a cash net worth of $11,000 and no prospects for ever working again. And for most of my life, no prospects for working, period. Or if I did, I got fired. So I should be an easy mark for you. My niece, who does have money, is willing to put up the $100,000, and the outcome would be judged by the difference in performance of the people that were assigned to you versus the people assigned to me. I will confess that I'm not a stranger to measurement. In fact, every time I undertook to teach a new course, and I would go into schools where nobody knew me, and in some cases I had no background in the subject, and offered to teach one of the scheduled courses, and offered to do it free, which was the magic word at most colleges. So I got an opportunity to have students. I measured their performance. I got control groups and measured their performance. And so I've done this all along. So you can consult most of my 30 publications have or comparisons of that nature. Naturally, since it was at my instigation, I always won. But I would have won anyway. Now, we could select a general science course, or we could select one of the mandatory history courses, which I personally think are worthless, but they are funded. And I'm convinced I can turn these into instruments for increasing the psychological capital of students. That is, give them tools that they can use for the rest of their lives to enhance their own well-being, and in some cases to do things that would enhance the well-being of others. Now, psychological capital is not anything related to human capital. Human capital is a buzzword. It's operationally defined by economists, so they can play with it and get publications. But it's essentially a buzzword for skills that increase the profitability of whatever company or whatever enterprise the person is part of. That's good. The more human capital you have, the better off you are, and probably the better off the institution you work for. But it's measured in terms of contribution to economic output. And it's usually poorly measured because the ingredients of human capital tend to be in terms of credentials, in terms of academic accomplishments, previous jobs, resumes, recommendations, a lot of shit. Spence, who won the Nobel, I believe in '02, in economics, said college degrees, earning a college degree, his work showed earning a college degree permitted people who earned them to signal to prospective employers who don't know anything about the people applying, except what the people want them to know, to signal that they are productive, or they wouldn't have this degree. Now, that's what a college degree is. It's a credential. It's something that that the employer notes as a sign of productivity. No relationship was hypothesized using something actually learned. Our system of hiring, our system of measuring is too crude. So, psychological capital, as I described it in previous videos, included coming to understand much of the world as an input-output system in which one form of energy is an input and an activity results, and the energy is degraded and converted to something else and recycled. That's the way of the world. That's how we were made. And we'll move on to part 2.